We see a lot of troubling indicators as far as orders, shipments, confidence, layoffs, those kinds of things. I think people do sometimes extrapolate quite too much in terms of how severe or how distressing the situation really is. We've had a lot of business cycles since World War II. This one does look like it could be one of the longer and deeper ones. But having said that, we're pretty far into it. I think one of the reasons people are so concerned now is we're probably at that point where you get in every recession where it looks like things are in the maximum rate of descent. So it can get pretty scary and frightening for a lot of people. But business cycles do end. They bottom out, turn around, and they come back around again into a recovery. Some of the things that I think are going to be really important for us this time around is, first and foremost, restoring some stability to the housing markets and to the financial system. I think once people see that house prices are not falling anymore, the rate of foreclosures and that sort of thing starts leveling out, people can have a little bit more confidence in that it being a good time to buy a home, that the value of their own home isn't eroding any further. That's going to bring a lot of confidence. Getting the situation in our financial markets unclogged, where people aren't reading day after day about financial institutions in distress, and we get the flow of credit moving again, that's going to be a big factor. But there are other forces that are at work. In these periods of decline, businesses are cutting capital spending, they're cutting their inventories, they're getting the rate of current production down to meet the low level of demand. And that's why we're seeing all these declines. But once that process ends, that is, we kind of downsize the employment base and the production runs and get it kind of on a level with where demand is, you're not going to see all these negative numbers coming out anymore. The decline part of it will be over. That's the bottoming out. And then there'll be natural forces at work bringing things back up again. One of those is just one of the things I mentioned earlier, this entrepreneurial spirit or the willingness to take risk. A lot of companies are going to see good opportunities to step in and introduce new products, expand their plant, take market share away from competitors who are too timid. We see this happening all the time, and we're going to see it happen again in this period as well. So I think as we move toward, through the middle of the year, the negative numbers will start going away, things will kind of stabilize out, and as we get toward the later part of the year, we'll start to see those signs of recovery again.
Okay. In your career as an economist, is there one indicator that you see, whether economic or cultural perhaps, that is a sign that things are getting better?
Well, I can't really say that there's one thing that stands out. I do think that one of the things that people tend to focus on too much is looking at unemployment rates or looking at some things that turn out to be lagging indicators. Unemployment rates stay high even after the recovery begins. It takes a little while for firms to get the confidence to bring people back in. So for people who are looking at consumer confidence and they're looking at the labor market situation, they're kind of looking at the lagging indicators. And the things that tend to be more on the leading side are a willingness of businesses to start restocking inventory. They're going to get to a point where they don't even have enough for the current state of selling. And as they get more confidence about the current state of selling, they'll begin some production runs, they'll begin to expand a little bit in terms of fulfillment. And it's a slow process. The way that the momentum turns around, it's kind of a slow process. And then it can pick up speed.